Okay, I'd like to welcome all of you to another one of our paid co-founder trainings that we do on Mondays and Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm coming to you live from Las Vegas. Good evening to those of you in the US. Good morning to those of you that are in Asia, and good day to the rest of you around the world. So we're glad that you made it here and that you're part of our training that we do. It happens to be Monday, February 23rd, 2026. We are wrapping up the end of February here, and things are looking great. All right. I've got the notifications. I need to turn some notifications off real quick. Let's
Good
see.
morning, Sir Ace.
Good morning. I want to turn notifications off. Let's see here. I could probably just close that. And this one here. Let's sign out. Perfect. Yeah, okay, that'll work for me. Sorry, I get easily distracted by
It's okay.
notifications. All right, so there we go. I got up around 4 a.m. today, and it's just been so much activity. So thank God it's Monday. I always look forward to Mondays. To me, Monday is like the beginning of getting back to what I'm most passionate about. That is, you know, building what we're building. We're doing something together. We're changing the world together. So I'm very, very passionate about what I'm doing, and it drives me. It gets me up early, and also keeps me going sometimes all day, all night. Today has been one of those days of I had some errands to run, but outside of those errands, I've just been nonstop thinking about all of you and how I can be a better service and support each of you and your individual quests to change your corner of the world for the better. So, obviously starting with yourselves and your family. That's something that goes without saying. But hopefully, you can see that having a big vision that goes beyond the four walls of that make up your home or whatever. That you can actually see that. There's so much opportunity in the world to make the world a better place. So we have lots of things that we could do to change the world so that we have a world that we want feel good about passing on to future generations, our children, grandchildren, and so on. So I've got some good news and I got some bad news, but technically the bad news is just for a small group of people, and it doesn't really affect most of you that are probably listening to me right now. But the good news, if you've been watching the charts, with the chart on PML is significantly higher. So yay! How about a
Yay.
round of
Yay!
applause for that?
Yes, yes.
Yay!
So that is good news. Just to
Yeah.
validate that, let me go ahead and share my screen. So it's been definitely a battlefield. Let's see here. Chart. All right, so we can see here that we're currently sitting at 282,000. So we've definitely broken out of the range. We were ranging between, 100,000 and 150,000 for the longest time, right? It seemed like
Right.
the longest time, but it was technically just a few weeks. But we've clearly broken out of that range, as you can see here. We're no longer down in the 100 to 150,000. Okay. We have moved up, and basically the move you could say kind of started on you could say the 20th, and today happens to be the 23rd. So in the last 3 days, I would say that we have doubled up from where we've been. So that's good news, right, guys?
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
yes.
good.
Good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The bad news is, and like I said, this doesn't, it probably doesn't mean anything to you guys. Whoops. I hate when I do that. The bad news is for these guys here. You see, the people who are responsible for making these big candles coming down, those ones here and those ones there. There's kind of one there.
Mm,
So these people that have sold, and even these smaller candles that you see here, because there should be no selling, right?
yeah.
So
Right.
any of these people here that sold, here's the bad news. They literally have walked away from a minimum of $20 million. Okay? That's the bad news. So the bad news affects those people, but the rest of you, the true and faithful, there is no bad news. It's all upside for all of you. Okay. So we are marching forward. Things are looking good. Things are feeling good. Okay. And let's see here. Let's take a look at our chat here. So I'm gonna scroll up. I've been out and about and on. I actually been on another training call with another organization, kind of sharpen up my skills. But we've had some more people come in. Okay, so we've got actually
Wow.
two from the Philippines here. All right, that have come in. Joselito and Vicky. So everybody say a big hello out to Joselito and Vicky.
Hey, congratulations. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Good
Wow.
job.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
We
You have
appreciate you.
chosen wisely.
Congratulations.
For
Congratulations.
these guys, it might be way more significant for them to be a star because coming up with 50,000 in terms of a good paying job in the Philippines, $1,000 represents about 5 months of work, 40 hours a week, right? So at a good paying job. So anybody doing that so my hat's off to these guys because these guys probably had to stretch a little bit more than some of us in the West who, basically um, complain that we're only making a few $100s a day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, whatever we might be doing, and we might be complaining about that, and we take that for granted being in the West. So, but there are two more slots still available, okay, for our star program. Okay, so if you want to be a star, then definitely get a generous return instantly by coming in with $1,000. Okay, and um, but the sellers, okay, have actually been a little greater than I anticipated when I launched the star program. Okay. And so we're gonna be talking about that today. We're gonna spend some time discussing openly what we're doing about that. Okay. But I will say that we've had some people yanking on me, and it makes sense to go forward. But $1,000 is can be a challenge for even people in the West. Okay, right, Ken.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So even if you're in the West, or maybe $1,000 is a bit of a challenge. And so, but people still would like to get like an opportunity to multiply their money instantly by, getting a good offer. And so we have come up with a brand new program to expand on this. And basically we have the same objective, get to $2 million. The idea is to get to $2 million as quickly as possible as far as the value of the PML coin. Okay. And anybody selling right now, it's costing them a minimum of $20 million. So think about that. We've seen people sell for $500, even some people closer, some people maybe $800,000, $900,000. And they think they're getting a lot of money, especially if they're in the Philippines. Like I said, that might represent at a good paying job, that might represent, five months of hard work. If it's $1,000, if it's 800, that might be 4 months, and it might sound like a lot of money to someone in the Philippines, but compared to $20 million, that's what you're giving up, okay? Because they have self-eliminated from the opportunity to join us on the new coin venture that's and be part of that community that's going to launch that coin, okay? And I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to go into a lot of detail on that today as well. It is Monday after all, so it's good to kind of get, a lot of stuff I've mentioned before, add some clarity to it and bring it all together so it's very, very clear what we're doing and how we're getting to where we want to go. All right, so let me show you the alternative to becoming a star is you can become a diamond for $500. How's that sound, guys? You can become a
Sounds
diamond
good.
for
Sounds good.
$500. So we have already put together some media. Let me just kind of jump in here. We find the media. So we've got, there we go. So we had two posters, this one and this one, and I like this one the best. Would you guys agree between my choices here? I went with the better
Yes.
choice. Okay, I like that a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay, so wanted 20 PML diamonds to push the price of PML up to $2 million. Contact Ace on Telegram at Bitcoin Ace 101. If you have $500 or more, you want to triple immediately. So I think the wording's not quite. We need to fix the wording on that. Let's see here. If you have $1,000 or more, you want to double immediately. You want to double immediately. If you have 1,000 or more, you want to double immediately. So I guess that's the right wording. Okay. If you have $500 or more, you want to triple immediately. How's that sound?
Nice.
Nice. Sounds very good.
Is that a good offer? So put 500 in and get at least $1,500 in PML. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, and then we've got an example. I didn't like that so much, so I told him to make some improvements on it. But he came up with this as a result. What do you guys think of that?
I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
That looks cool, right?
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Good.
Yeah,
That's
that
good. I like that. Yeah,
So
it's nice.
we're using Joselito as an example. Just wanted to see what it would look like when we put somebody in there. What do you think of the poster recognition here?
That's great.
Look
Yeah, I
good?
like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If you have $500, you can become a diamond too. Okay. All right. So there you go. So we're looking for 20 people to step up to become a diamond. Let me just put it to this way, to those of you that are stars, that are already stars, if you want to ante up more, right? Because the offer was always, you could do more, right? Let's just say that anybody who's that wants to ante up, they can expect to triple what they're wanting to do there. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to put more in, come see me. That's no problem. No problem at all. You can do more, and we will triple you moving forward. How's that sound for those of you that are already stars?
Excellent.
Cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
That sounds good. Okay. All right. So there we go. All right. So we're going to get there. Okay. One of the things that we need to do, and I'm going to ask my executive team to basically do this for me because there's only one of me. Okay. But we have I'd say about 500 people that we need to contact that, are basically already on our list. Okay. That are holding PML. They're holding at least 0.0001. Okay, if they're holding 0.0001, that's about today's value about $30 worth right now. Okay, because the price went up. It was 16, right? Now it's 30. Okay. So they're holding on to about $30 worth of PML at the moment. And so anybody that's on the list and that has been true and faithful, have not sold, have not transferred coin, have not done any shenanigans, then we want to invite them to come join us on the new community coin and position themselves to receive over $20 million of value there. Okay. Because it's just about, for now it's positioning, right? So you put you take a position there. So the way it works, if you do the math, 0.0001, if that's all you got, the value of that is $20 million. Now, if you got more than that, let's say you have 0.0002, you don't have 20 million, you got $40 million. See how this works? Okay. So worst case scenario, and the good news that if you come be a part of this community that we're going to roll out with the new coin, worst case scenario, the value there for you is rock bottom minimum $20 million. Now, do you think some of these people that might be teetering on the temptation to sell their coin prematurely because, hey, everybody's got situations, hardships, life stuff that happens that, yeah, I really could use $500 right now, because of this reason or that reason. And in some cases, these are urgent, situations. Okay. But would you really want to make the business decision of sacrificing the rock bottom minimum of $20 million so you could collect that $500 now? Is that a wise business decision?
At all.
Okay. And anybody that lacks the insight to know that, okay, and would consider selling prematurely, okay, I don't think we really want them in our community anyway, right? I mean, if someone's going to be tempted, to screw everybody else, okay, let's face it, let's look at it from the perspective of the collective, right? When the price goes down, we all kind of feel like we got screwed. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By one of us, okay? One of us came around and screwed us collectively, and that one person walked away with an immediate gain, right? But in the short term, but they've sacrificed the long term gain that they would have by being true and faithful. But it does have a bit of a sting for the collective or for the community when they see that someone's. Well, we could have the price could be easily $600,000 right now if those people didn't sell, right?
Yeah.
But we're basically at 300,000 right now, and we'd feel a lot closer to our target of 2 million. Frankly, if you add up all the sales in the month of February, okay, we should have already been at 2 million. If we had no selling resistance, okay, we would have already achieved it by now. Okay, so they have basically taken the timer and pushed it back on the group of us for their own selfish reasons. Okay, but unfortunately, I can't emphasize this enough. They have hurt themselves, greatest of all, because we as a collective, we're going to recover quickly. Okay, what does that look like? We have multiple examples of how fast we recover collectively. And they're right in the chart. Okay. Take a look at this. Okay. All right. So let's just go back. Let's take this example right here. Okay. We were here. Okay. We were all excited about getting over 200,000. If you guys can remember the moment, that was back on the 20th. Okay. We just climbed over 200,000 for a recent high of about 200,000 and then back down to 125. Okay. Did we recover quickly? We got back up here to 215,000 and we did that on 2 days later. Is that relatively a quick recovery, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, here's another example. We got all the way up here to $268,000 and then crashing back down to 172,000. Okay, that was on the 23rd. Okay, and then, well, let's see, these are just hours apart. So that right there is 14 and that right there is 17. So that's 3 hour, did we recover quickly? 3 hour difference, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing. We had a high up here of almost 290,000. Okay, and then went all the way down here to 164,000, and that was also on the 23rd at 1900 hours, and then we got back up there again on the 24th. So a 1 day recovery. So I hope when you look at that actually builds confidence. Do you guys look at this and does that make you feel more confident?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So collectively, we're going to be able to recover, okay, from these setbacks that these, short-term thinking sellers are, putting in the way of us. Okay. But what I've always said is that what we need to do, is we need to create momentum. Okay. So momentum comes from a couple of different places. And I see the hands up. I'm going to get to the hands in a second. There's 2 hands up. Oh, and by the way, I think Hunter's got his hand up because, like, are we going to pay the people today? So yeah, why don't we open up the chat? And those of you that are qualified for paid training, go ahead and and Hunter took his hand down. So that was the reason he was had his hand up. Go ahead and put your the correct wallet address in. And guys, make sure it's the correct one. I just spoke with someone like it was yesterday, and they had somehow, accidentally added a digit. I think it was the letter I, right in the middle of their address, and it was the wrong address, right? Like the blockchain didn't recognize it anymore because you added an additional digit, right? It was an accident, and they kept reusing that same thing over and over again. And it's just this train's moving too fast for us to try to fix those kind of minor issues when someone makes that kind of mistake. So it's up to you, right, individually, to make sure that you're grabbing the correct address. Sometimes don't count on something you've copied and just keep using it over and over again. That's not the best strategy. Okay. And I've always said, basically, when you factor in where the value is going on the PFG coin that we're paying you in, I've always said that it's about a $500 value to show up to training, right? So that's and that's in the short run. It's probably going to be more than that later on, but in the short run, it's about $500. But right at the current value, it's just a few dollars, right? But we know it's going up. All right, I'm going to drink something. I'm getting a little dry here. Have my greens, cucumber, celery, grapefruit, lemon. Anyway.
Ah, awesome.
Anyway, so yeah. So that's just you make sure that you put in the correct address. Okay. All right, Ken, what's on your mind, buddy?
Good evening, Ace. Last meeting, you mentioned that the funds that you've received from the stars have not totally been allocated yet.
Correct.
Right?
That's true. Yeah.
And
Yep.
one more question. If somebody becomes a diamond, resulting in $1,500 worth of token, what does that relate to in terms of the actual price, the actual value? point what? Point zero point what?
Well, it's a moving target, right?
Right?
So if you want to learn how to do the math, you take the price of the coin. Let me just share my screen. Let's just round up that we're basically at 300,000 right now. Okay. So let's see here. So let's share screen. We'll grab a calculator. And usually the best way to figure it out is use division. Okay. So start with the 1,500 and then divide it by, the current price of 300,000. So that would represent getting 0.005 of PML. Okay. Now, how does that situate you with everybody else? Okay. Let me just I hate to go to the blockchain because there's ads on there, and then YouTube will not want to put my video on up there. So I'll try to avoid going to the blockchain. So I always go to the holding area here, which I get pretty close to the same data. Okay. This doesn't update, but this is not real-time data, but it updates at least once a day.
The
Okay.
holding page is not loading currently.
Oh my God. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing and I'll just tell you. I'll just go to the blockchain. All right. So the program must be working on that page. That's why it's probably, he mentioned that he's got some things to fix on some of the things that he discovered on the PML website that created the big red thing. There's some other stuff on the pool funding website that he feels like, you know what, we should correct it on the pool funding website too, So that's probably what's going on there. He's working on that. So I'm just going to go to blockchain. I'm going to refresh it. We have 986 holders of PML, and the 50th person is holding 0.04, right? And then we go to the 100th person, they're holding 0.02. And the 150th person is holding 0.007. And the 200th person is holding 0.003. So 0.005 is greater than the 200th person. Let me see if I can find where the change is here from 4 to 5. So basically 164. So holder number 164 is the first person that's holding less than 0.005. So currently that 164 is holding 0.0049. Okay. So just a bit less than what a person is going to get, at the current price. Okay. But the price goes up another 100,000. That number changes again. So this prompts people, okay, that, to recognize that the early bird always gets the worm. Okay. Am I right or am I right? Okay. I mean, people that were taking advantage of the STAR program when it was basically at $100,000 per PML coin, they got way more PML coin when we doubled it for them. Let's just say it was double plus some generosity. Okay. They got more than people were getting when it was 200,000, So, in the STAR program, right? So it's a moving target. If you wait till we get to almost 2 million and then jump in and become, one of our diamonds, then you're not going to get 0.005. So, It was a very short question, but I gave you a very long answer, Ken, because it is dynamic like that.
Yes, yes. Ace, getting back to the allocation of the funds that you still have not allocated. And we know why you haven't allocated those funds yet. But if you were to do so right now with the remaining funds that you've collected from the stars, where do you think that would push the price to?
Maybe $1 million. But the
That's
problem
pretty
is,
much-
if I pushed it all of a sudden to $1 million, and then one of these sellers that's been tempted, you know what I'm saying? That breaks their temptation and they take action, then one of them could drive us right back down to 300,000. So, right? So I'm exercising wisdom in the way I'm allocating it. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to jerk the sellers at the lowest possible price I can. Jerk them out. I don't want to get to 2 million and then get a rush of sellers at that point, and then all of a sudden be below 100,000 all of a sudden. That would be demoralizing. So I'm trying to avoid that situation. That makes sense?
Yes, do you have any idea how many of these bad actors we still have on board here?
That's why I said I want to put my executive team, and they need to reach out to 500 people. So we'll divide up the list of 500 between 6 of them, and their job will be to reach out to each one and just say, "Are you aware, worst case scenario, that you're in a position to take advantage of a $20 million offer? Are you aware of that? That if you prematurely sell, that offer goes away. Are you aware of that? Because there could be a lack of awareness going on as well, right? So my strategy is twofold. One, we're going to just keep on moving the price up in a very strategic way, as I've been doing so far. And maybe it looks like paint is drying. Sometimes we watch things like this, and it's like watching paint dry, which is not exciting at all. So, I mean, it'd be way exciting if in one day we'd suddenly be right where we need to be. But the problem is that we need to firm up the commitments. So what we need to do is we need to find out who truly is committed out of the 500, the top 500 holders of PML. Anybody that's, in the, let's just say if you're holding less than $30 of PML and you sell all of it, I don't care about you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you don't have that much to sell anyway, so you're really not going to hurt us selling $30 all of a sudden. You really just hurt yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you've eliminated your opportunity to collect $3,000 a month using our system, our poverty crushing machine. And if it only takes $30 for you to throw that machine away, that's your loss. You know what I'm saying? Right? So,
Yeah.
so we're really targeting. We're not going to go talk to all 900 people, but I think we can talk to 500 of them, and we can do that in a week or so. So I think we're getting there. Like I said, I still feel good about getting to our target in a short time. Like, we're running out of February, but maybe early March. So, and I'd like to reach price stability in April. I still feel like we can hit these time frames. And that's what we all want, right? We want price stability, and we can all kind of basically, sell as we want, or what I should say is gently sell. Yeah, because Joe mentioned he really liked it when I said it that way. Gently sell, because why gouge the chart, right? When if you don't have like pressing needs, why take a bunch of money out if you don't have a pressing need, right? So, and obviously, it's like taking care of an infant. We don't expect the infant to go get a 9-to-5 job, a few months after birth. You know what I'm saying? Things have to mature, right? Before they're contributing to the household income or whatever. as a young adult. Okay. So yeah, and Hunter's reminding everyone, don't kill the golden goose. That's right. All right. So we're gonna get there. Just have confidence in that. We've got more working for us than we have working against us. And frankly, the whole intent I have here is to lift all of you, right? I'm working day and night to make you rich. And that's all of you. And I would expand that to, I want to lift all of humanity. But obviously, the early adopters are positioned to become uber. You guys like that word uber, right? Uber wealthy. Okay, uber being like, opportunities, don't come back once they're past, right? So the people that come in early, grabbing, key positions in the early stages of anything, right? I mean, who said it? Like, I'm not really a fan of this company, but someone said if you bought like $1,000 of Microsoft, and when it first launched in the first year when it launched, that you'd be like, it's like worth $50 million now, you know. So because the stock is split, it has split so many times that that original $1,000 would be, and that's true for a lot of these, any company that's significant. I could have mentioned Apple. I just saw something recently, so that's why I brought up that company because I just saw a statistic and it's mind blowing, right? $1,000. Well, that's when that thing was just getting started. Who would have known? You know what I'm saying? Who would have known? So anyway, um, yeah. And so that's where we're at. We're at the beginning of something. So this community coin, I want you guys to realize just how gigantic that is. And I'll tell you right now, one of the things that kept me busy up until the last minute, and I got to the call just barely in time to, before the time today, I was coming off of a training call on how to create digital products using AI and put them out into full distribution where they could be paid. You can get paid on it. Okay. And so what I learned on my first day, because it's a 4-day workshop that I'm going through, what I learned on my first day with these guys, they're out of California, by the way, is that there's already this platform where you basically get on the platform with your digital product. It's very cheap, like you don't have to even advertise. People are going to see your product no matter what it is, right? An ebook, digital course, it could be anything, right? But anyway, these guys basically say, okay, all you got to do is kind of, have a concept of an idea and then let AI actually create the entire product and then put it out on this platform that already exists, that's already got a lot of eyeballs on it already. And yeah, they've got people that are pulling in $1 million a year on their digital products that are part of this thing. Okay. So what does that tell you? We all have access now. If you are connected to the internet, you have access to these same tools, right? AI, whatever. I mean, you have access to it. You have access to these platforms. If you have a connection to the internet, you already have access. It's just that you don't know what you don't know, and that's why I signed up for this thing, so that I would learn something new and then position myself. So as we go into this community coin, I could bring on what I learned and help you guys see that same vision, apply it to our own marketplace and build it from there. But yeah, creating digital products has never, ever, ever, ever been cheaper or easier than it is right now. Because right now, you can literally just say, I have an idea. And then you express the idea to AI, and AI will then take all of its, library of information about everything it knows about the world relating to your idea and create a product. Crazy, right? And it can be done in minutes. So, I mean, it's just that's the world we're in now. So, bottom line is that if you're part of this new community coin that's rolling out, trust that you'll have a way to put something out there, okay? Something that would be valuable, okay? Something that could be valuable, and then people will buy it from you, and they'll pay you in the PML coin, okay? So when I say the $20 million value, yeah, I'm being very serious about that because, just like when you look at me, I'm sitting on a wallet here. Okay. I have a wallet that let's just go to PML. So inside the wallet that I'm holding right here, how big is that number?
Ooh.
Okay. My wallet says that I've got 284 trillion, 222 billion, 313,904,676 dollars. Okay. Well, you guys would be happy if your wallet said 20 million, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Definitely that part.
Okay. Now, does that mean I can go spend, almost 300 trillion dollars today? No. No, that's not really what that means. But the value is established. Okay. And it's just like um, anything. Okay. You start a business. Okay. Yeah. You might go public with your business. Okay. And then all of a sudden, your stock is worth $10 per share, and there's a billion shares. So you've got $10 billion in stock, right? But does that mean on day one you can take that 10 billion and sell it all and collect 10 billion? Is that what that means? No. But what it does mean is that it becomes like a place that you can keep grabbing from and grabbing from and grabbing from way past your own death, okay? Because these entities go on past your death, okay? Right? Imagine that. Same thing with these digital wallets. They will still exist long after you're dead, okay? As long as your heirs have access to your passwords, they'll be able to use that ongoing, okay? So, yeah. But bottom line is this. If we're saying now you could position yourself to have a minimum $20 million, let's say it took the rest of your life to pull it out in paper money, $20 million. Be a good deal still, right?
Yep.
Even if maybe the first year you didn't pull $1 million out. Let's say the first year you pulled out a ridiculously small amount, $10,000, right? You got 20 million, but you pulled out this tiny little bit, $10,000 on your first year. And then what if your second year you pulled out $100,000, your second year? And your third year you pulled out $500,000. Your fourth year you pull out $1 million, paper money for your own, personal needs. Okay. That's what we're talking about here. And so people that would sell and shortchange themselves and not recognize the value of working with someone like myself, who works day and night with the intent of making you rich. Okay? And when I say you, I mean you, all of you. Okay? And even those that are not here. Okay? Right? So if you're already part of this pool funding community, it is my intention to make you rich. And I am basically the pathfinder. I'm not showing you how to do something that I haven't already done myself. I have been through this path multiple times, have made multiple millions of dollars myself. I'm in a position to guide you to do the same. So it might feel like a betrayal to me when people sell. It does. I take it personally, be honest with you. Okay. But really, the one that they're really betraying is the one in the mirror. They're betraying themselves because they've given up on the partnership they have with me. Because they basically said, you know what? I don't value what you're doing, Ace. And I don't value this group of people you've already surrounded yourself with. And I don't value the hard work you put into all of this over the last 2 years. And I'm just going to trash it and grab my $500 now and check out of here and move on to the next stupid thing. Right? And yeah, I call those people an idiot. And I don't think I'm wrong by saying that's what an idiot does. Right? Let me drink some more of my green juice.
That's what a fool does, Ace.
Yeah, we all have different names. Idiot, fool. When I was growing up, dumbass, I'd hear that a lot,
That was a good one.
First 5 years of my life, I thought my name was dumbass because, I didn't know. My father kept using that. Dumbass, stop it. Dumbass, come over here. But, he's a boomer. What can I say?
There you go.
So that's it. But anyway, so, yeah, we're going to sort through these people and find out really what we got. Okay. Because some of these people, they're like, yes, yes, yes. They've already said that they've been verified. We have put them in the trusted column. We've already gone through this process once before to check on them, but that was a few months back. It's time for us to talk to everyone again. It is. And say, come on, it's time for a recommitment. Get on board with what we're doing here because we're going places together. It's going to be huge. Okay. So let's see here. So the Diamond program, you guys excited about that? Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's great.
All right. Yep. And so I'm officially saying if you're a star, I'm also going to triple you. So it's going to be a little better than doubling. So if you want to add to your star position, go for it. And also I want, back to Ken's question earlier about, if we take the money set aside, realize that everything's in a flow state, Ken, because this is what I'm doing full time with my time, right? So I do have personal bills I pay, and I'm using the money from this to pay myself, right? But I don't take a lot. I take as little as I can, But I'm used to much higher lifestyle than when I'm paying myself recently. Let me put it in those terms, okay? But this is what it is. Okay. So recognize that yes, part of when you're making payments, it does pay my personal bills, right? I've got transportation costs, I got a roof over my head, food in my belly, just like all of you. And this is why I can dedicate myself so much to this. And no matter what, I'm just going to keep pushing and doing my thing. And let's just say I do something outside of pool funding with this digital thing that I'm going the next 4 days. I'm going through a workshop on that. They told me you will have your own digital product by the end of the workshop. and it'll be in the marketplace, and it could be making you money by the end of the 4 days. So that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if I pull in $10,000, $20,000, from that, could I use that to also come back and push the price of PML? Of course, that's exactly what would happen. Does that make sense? Okay.
That's,
So there's a whole flow here, and I'm being transparent about the flow. Is that fair? Any questions, Ken, about that? Or concerns?
Sounds great, Ace. Awesome.
Okay. Just know that I'm in this 100%. Okay. This is what I do. This is where my head is, where my heart is. My soul, believe it or not, is here attached, and yeah, that's a lot. Okay. So I couldn't be more in than what I am. I'm in, this is no joke for me. So, yeah, so let's just say that I still feel good about the time frames. I feel good about getting to our price target relatively soon, next 2 weeks. I feel like that's the time frame, Faster the diamonds come in, great. That'd be, the better. Faster that you guys, come in with the and join the community, because we're, like I said, I feel like there's 400 of you that need to do that. And I think we're maybe less than 50 of you have. I don't have numbers yet because the programmer's busy on so many things. He hasn't built me an admin area for that yet. But I'd say less than 50 of you have even taken up the offer. Okay. So I'm not saying it will be 400 people. It might be 200 of you, right? That'll be the community. And once we've established the community and we shut the door, everybody else is part of the users of what the community provides. Okay. The difference is this: we're going to take 1 billion coins. We're going to divide it up to whoever the community is. 200 of you, 300 of you, 400 of you, right? It can't be 1,000 of you because our list is already set. This is not for new people. This is for those people who've been true and faithful. Okay, so we've already got an existing list. So it has to be that list or less. Does that make sense, guys?
Yep,
Yes.
makes sense.
So that's the list, whether it's 200 of you, 300 of you, 400 of you, doesn't matter to me. Each one's going to put $100 in, okay? And depending on how much PML coin you're holding, okay, your part of the pie is going to be dependent on that, okay? So how do we make the pie, okay? Well, when it's all done, when we reach that final point where, okay, this group here, that's the community, okay? Let's just say it's 400 of you, okay? Then we take the amount of PML each one's holding and we add it all together, and then we divide it proportionately, okay? That's how the formula works, right? It depends on people that opt in. So I know bare minimum that no one is going to come out with less than $20 million, because 20,000 of these coins, okay, times $1,000 each. That's it. Now, here's what's going to happen. You're not going to receive all the coins in your wallet day one. You're not. What's going to happen is you're each going to get 1 coin, regardless of your proportionate size. Does that make sense, guys?
Yep, so far. Yep.
Okay, you're each going to
Yes,
get
and
one.
thank you.
You're going to get 1 coin, okay, in your wallet. Does that mean you can sell 1 coin? No. No. I'm going to come back to that in a second. The rest of the coins are going to go into a holding area, okay, that'll be part of the website. And it'll be your account, okay, and those are your coins. But all 1 billion coins will be completely, we already know where they're allocated, who's got what. Now, if anyone in that community decides to, do something stupid, like prematurely sell their one coin, okay, taking money now. If they do that, whatever coins that they were holding, they lose all of that. Is that a pretty big incentive not to sell?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're not gonna sell.
No.
I mean, how stupid do you have to be if you sell even part of one coin if you're going to lose like 19,999 coins? Okay. I mean, you're going
Pretty
to lose
stupid.
all of them, right?
Hmm.
So we're not really looking for stupid people, are we? We're not.
No.
We're looking for people that can understand they got something for real to lose. Okay. And so that those coins will be sitting there, okay, and it'll be meetings that the community has that will determine allocation, how much distribution, disbursements, things like that. So what's going to happen is at the very beginning of this launching of the new coin, the new community, and all that, one coin is going to be in the market out of a billion. Okay, maybe there's 399 other coins, or maybe there's 400. We'll just say there's 400 coins that are also in the wallets. So technically in the market, you know what I'm saying? Because they're in wallets that anyone could just, they have the power to sell, right? And then the remaining coins are going to be just represented on the website, but they'll be stored safely in a central location. Does that make sense? Okay.
Right.
All right. They'll be protected. So the one coin will work like this. So when we go to set up liquidity, okay, for this new coin, we're going to allocate one coin and 1,000 USDT the first second, 1 second. Think of timelines, okay? 1 second. So it'll be instantaneously one coin is equal to 1,000 USDT. Okay? First second. But now that means that people can buy. And I'll be one of the first buyers. And trust me, I'll have another $1,000. Okay? That I'm going to be immediately start buying. I'm going to be one of the first buyers. I'm telling you up front. So I'm gonna spend another 1,000. So we're gonna put 1,000 in the 1 second, okay, and then another 1,000 from me. I don't know how much each of the 400 are gonna do, but yeah. Again, the people that jump early, they win. Am I right or am I right?
Got it.
You understand? Okay. And then I'm just gonna make the agreement now, and that as long as whatever you buy, okay, that amount that's above the one coin that you're holding, okay, that's also something you could sell. Okay. And how about if we can see if we can keep it going where we don't have like, so as long as there's only one coin that's up and down, up and down, up and down, people are buying and selling and buying and selling and da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could be an interesting couple of weeks on the launch of the coin. That makes sense, guys?
Yep.
But the key is that the value can never drop below $1,000. If it does, then we go into price. Then we go into price signals. Like, okay, we got to get the price back above 1,000, and we can't let it get below that ever. Okay, right? So that's the deal. And then the original 400 people will just basically have fun for a few weeks, speculating, I guess you could say. You understand what I'm trying to say here, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. That the early adopters are going to take full advantage of the late adopters for sure, in the first
Yeah.
couple of weeks, okay? And they're gonna get some cha-ching, like some paper money out of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what the deal's gonna be. All right. So those people that are selling their PML coin prematurely, right? They're not going to be able to participate in all that fun, are they?
Nope.
But there's no harm in the coin going, zipping up to, who knows, you know. I'm not even going to put a number on it, but maybe it could go up. It could have huge $100,000 swings. Okay, that's what I'm kind of imagining in my head. I'm picturing $100,000 swings up and down and up and down. It's going to be crazy for a few weeks, but as long as the price stays above $1,000, we are all happy in the community. That makes sense? Okay, yeah. All right, go ahead, Paul. You
Yeah,
got your
so
hand up.
yeah, so that community of 400 basically they'll all be dedicated people to working together in the first place, but they will basically have control over that whole situation. So collectively, we will be able to manage that very carefully, those 400 people.
Yeah, the whole point is that these are the people that we're rewarding for being true and faithful. So we're dealing with that snowball, if you will, right? The solid, we got something solid that we can then roll it out
Yeah.
and build users on top of that, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so that's the core of the best of the best.
that's exactly, or the creme de la creme, right? So there's a lot of sayings. So yeah, so basically we're taking the best of us, and what we're doing is the executive team will go on and call everybody out and say, "Are you aware that by continuing to do as you've done in not selling PML, that you are in a position for only $100 to opt in and get a minimum $20 million? Did you understand this?" And if they say no, then the answers are on YouTube. Watch the last couple of videos that Ace is talking about this and get excited because you don't want to miss out. And for goodness sake, don't make excuses on that you can't find $100. Okay, because even if you're in the Philippines, you can find $100. Okay, so there you go. So that's good. So basically, we should inspire those people that might be tempted. Maybe when the price gets to $500,000, when the price gets to 1 million, the price gets to 1.5 million, they might be tempted to sell. But in light of the $20 million offer, that temptation should be wiped out. Does that make sense? That's the strategy, at least. That's why we're going to do. Some people, we're going to talk to them, or they're going to refuse to communicate because just because you reach out doesn't mean that they respond. Okay, well, at least we're going to be able to identify our weaker chain, the weak links in the chain, and be looking at what they're sitting on in PML, and we'll be on guard for it. But it doesn't matter. I mean, no matter what, we're gonna, as a group, we're gonna recover from anybody that sells quickly. We've demonstrated it already like 20 times already, and we're gonna be fine. So it's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. We're not the task that we got to do here, guys. It's so much easier than a lot of you might be thinking it is. Because maybe in your mind you're thinking, well, 300,000 is a long ways away from 2 million. You don't understand the structure of liquidity that we're working with. Because you wouldn't think that way if you understood that. Okay. All we got to do is just eliminate the selling pressure as much as possible. And then write it up. So, day by day, I keep seeing these sellers where they take and they gouge the chart with a huge candle, but they have sold all of their coin, all of their PML in one shot, right? Which makes them, think about the lack of intelligence there. You know what I'm saying? Like they grabbed $900 when if they waited for us to hit price stability, they might be able to get $900 15 different times, right? Inside of price stability on PML, just being patient for a month or two, right? But no, they gouge it. And I know they don't need that much money. The people that I see that are selling it, they don't need that much money. The money that they're grabbing way more than they need. I know. And it's just a short bump for them, right? But they've really they've screwed themselves out of everything on grabbing it now. Okay. They really have lost so much, and they've angered the rest of us because, we all kind of watch the chart and, yeah. If you lack self-control, you can get your emotions can get kind of involved in the chart. Yeah, I always say, do not put your heart in the chart. Okay. I mean, think of Bitcoin right now. You're looking at Bitcoin right now. If your heart's in the chart, you're not feeling very good right now. Okay. And Bitcoin's the granddaddy here of all of this. Okay. So don't put your heart in the chart, but instead, have the vision to see where this is all going and trust the plan. And if we miss our timeline by a week or two, or even by a month or so, who cares? As long as we hit the target at some point relatively soon, we're all good. Would you guys agree on that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Now, there's a flaw in PML. I want to talk about that. Clearly, so clearly. Okay. Okay, let me take a step back. I gotta help you guys. Yes, I gotta help you guys think the way I think. Okay. Right? When things don't go my way, right? I have a switch in my head that when I feel like, oh, this would make a normal person feel bad. Okay? So I have aspects that are quite normal. So, yes, I might start in normal. Okay? But then certain things happen and it's like a switch flips. Okay? And the switch is this, that things don't happen to me. Things happen for me. That's the switch. Right? Because I figure all of this is here to teach me something. So I look at my biggest teachers, is it Jesus? Is that my biggest teachers? Believe it or not, it's, I see the adversaries, what people might refer to as the enemy. Okay. They're my biggest teachers. They're the ones that I gain the most. Right. Sure, I get a lot of great wisdom, but sometimes it's so profound you don't even understand it. Like, when you're talking whatever. For me, people say Jesus, I say Yeshua, but sometimes you don't fully grasp what's being taught. Okay, it's one of the reasons that he taught in parables, by the way. So you just get it at your level, But anyway, but no, I look at like recently we had Rosalie, who I've referred to as evil. She's evil, right? She's evil. But I also see her she's part of my space. She came here to teach. She's my teacher, right? I must be doing something not quite right, or you might say I must be doing something wrong because I didn't get the desired result, right? In other words, there must be a flaw here, something that needs to be corrected. And the sooner we correct it, the better. Do you understand the way that I think now? Okay. Things don't happen to me, they happen for me. So yeah, I might feel bad, I might get mad, you know what I'm saying? But then I'm like, that tastes so nasty, it doesn't work with my unconditional happiness. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, do I really want to go around feeling bad all day because of my teacher who's trying to teach me to fix something, make it better? You know what I'm saying? Or instantly I feel better. And I'm grateful for my teacher. Thank you, Rosalie, for teaching me that, hey, something needs to be corrected here. Okay. And you know what the main flaw here that we've been dealing with when it comes to PML is that these sellers really don't have, from their point of view, they don't have anything to lose from their point of view. Because all of their coins, all of them are in their wallet, in their total control and power. Am I right? Now, with pool funding, that's not true. You have a 90-day holding period, right? So you stand to lose something there, right? We haven't had that aspect in the PML. That thing did not exist, but it's about to. We're working on it. The switch is going to be flipped today. Okay? The software has already been written yesterday. What's going to happen is that coins that you collect in PML are going to be going into a holding area for now. Okay. And until we get to $2 million on our price target, okay, until we get there, your coins are going to start accumulating in the holding area, okay, instead of in your wallet. Okay, that goes for everyone. Okay. Now, at some point, it'll be regulated that as soon as it gets to 6,000, then it spills over to your wallet. But for now, until we get to 2 million, this is going to affect 100% of everybody on PML. So coins are going to go into a holding area. Okay. Let me share my screen. All right. So if we take a look at pool funding, we have a 90-day holding thing. Okay, right here. Like here's PFI holdings, right? You see that there? Okay, up till now, that doesn't exist here. Okay. All of the coins, so all of the PML coins here are all sitting in my wallet there. All of this is in my wallet. Okay. I wish you would stop using 3 digits. It's confusing when he uses 3 digits. To me, you should only have 2 digits, right? But for some reason, my programmer can't get that fixed. I've asked him to fix that like 1,000 times. So now I'm publicly getting mad at him for not fixing it. Because a lot of us don't have good eyesight. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell the difference between a comma and a period. But anyway, that's a period right there. And this is a comma right here. Okay, so that's $15,613, and that should be 52 cents. It should be rounded, right? 52 cents. PML sitting there at the current market value. Now, right here, you got current debt. Okay, and I've got none at the moment. Okay. But we're going to squeeze in a box in between these two boxes. So this is going to be what's in your wallet, and the box next to it is going to be PML Holdings. Okay, that's coming now. Okay. All right, that's where it's going to go. And then the first place it's going to take, and when you go to do a lend or whatever, and you need to do a lend, it's going to take from the holding first before it asks you to take from your wallet. Okay, so there's, I'm not sure if you got all that programmed yet, but that's how it's gonna work. Okay, when it gets it all finished. But what's gonna happen is an accumulation is gonna grow. So if you go here to the lending part of the website, we've got, like 1,500 loans here, okay, that are in the lender's pool. Okay, so all of these loans here, okay. By the way, when you look at these gouges here, that giant one there and that giant one there, guess where they got the coin? They got the coin from the distribution that we did. So when we paid a bunch of these things off here, okay, to get it, we paid up to the 15th of January when it got paid off. That's where the coin came from, right? So like some of these guys, they collected like, $800 in loans that, they were part of the system and their loans got paid off. And then they took and they sold it all, right? So this is the deal. And then that's why we have those gouges, okay? You see there, okay, here and there. In both of those cases, those two different people there, they sold everything. And they got the coin from when we used the guarantee part, okay? When we used guarantees to pay a bunch of these things off, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to pay everything off. This is going to go basically down to, zero here soon, but instead of it going to wallets, it's going to go into the holding area. Does that make sense, guys?
Yep.
And until we get to $2 million price, it's just going to keep accumulating in the holding area. Okay. So that's a collective incentive for everybody to contribute whatever they can to get us to that goal, that $2 million. So then we can go into price stability, which was between 1.5 million and 2 million. Okay. So that's where we want price stability to lie. Okay. So that's the plan. Okay. And so that's the flaw that we're correcting because right now with the way that we structure liquidity, it only takes one or two people to kind of like create this ugly chart, right? But if we don't give them additional ammunition, right? Then what are they going to do? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
if I took a vote, how many of you would you say you're right, 100% Ace? How many of you would say you need to do this? How many of you would vote
100%.
no?
100%. 100% right.
Yep.
Yeah, you're
Do
right.
it.
You need to do this.
Okay. Are there any nays? I'm just curious if there's anybody here that hates this idea. Any nays? Anybody that says no? Speak up now or forever hold your peace. This is your chance. I'm being as diplomatic and democratic as I possibly can be here to reason with everyone. Anybody want to say no to this idea?
Can you just explain it again? Just go over it one more time.
Yeah, so what's in your wallet is in your wallet. But anything that you start accumulating from this point forward, especially after we're going to pay all those lens off. So if you've been doing like lens every day, like I think you're doing 2 a day, right? We're going to be, you're suddenly going to have like, I don't know. You might have 2 a day. You might have something like 60 or 70 loans that would just get paid off all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying, Mary? But
Yeah,
instead of it going to your wallet, it's going to go into an allocation on the website, right? So it's still representing your coins there, right? But that's that we just call it your bucket. So you have your wallet, you have power and control over that. Your bucket, you don't have power and control, but it's your coins.
okay, all right. I understand it now. That
Okay.
makes more sense. Mhm.
So
Okay.
your wallet, you got control. Your bucket, you don't.
Right.
And see the
But
So
seller.
then,
Ace,
Go
but
ahead.
then once we get to price stability,
Then
it
what
goes-
happens is that anything over 6,000 would go to your wallet. That way, from now on, from forever, and unless you have $6,000 in your bucket, everything goes to the bucket. Nothing goes to your wallet. And then you're spending out of your bucket too. So when you do a lend, you're taking out of your bucket. When you get paid off on a loan, it goes back in your bucket. Okay, like that. But it was
So
it's
it's
but you
not
can't.
that
But
it's not you. So it's not that you can't use it. You can, but you can't. You
spend it.
can use it.
You can use it, but you can't spend it.
Right.
Yeah. When it's in your wallet, you can spend it because you can just convert it to paper money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the difference. The bucket you can't spend, but you can use it.
Okay.
How do you feel about that, Mary?
No, I'm fine with that. If
Okay,
especially
good.
if it's gonna, if especially if it's gonna, um, help drive up the price
Not only that, but when
stability.
we get to price stability, that'll put everybody, 100% of all of us are going to be in a position to lose something by abusing what's in our wallet. So if we
Right.
don't gently sell in our wallet, then we could lose our bucket of coins. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to have guidelines, price signals. We're going to have like how much can you sell? Like we've had limits $20 one time, $120.
Mhm.
That's it, right? You can sell. We've done that before, right? And anybody that went over that, then they got penalized, right? But in this case, the penalty would be you lose everything in your bucket. And
Mhm.
that's that would kind of suck, right? So yeah.
Right. I mean, I just want to make sure I get it 100% because you know,
No, I want you to get it
Can I,
100%.
yeah.
can I, can I make a point on that?
Sure, go ahead. Hopefully you can clarify it for her, Paul.
Yeah, I had a light bulb moment just tonight, actually, when you said, and it's so obvious now that I think about it, but when you said when it's in the wallet, it's in the market. You can take it out your wallet, you can go and put it into the market, you can sell it, right?
And
But
spend
if
it.
it's
Yeah.
not in your wallet, it's not in the market, and you can't go and sell it because it's not physically in your wallet to be able to be spent.
There you go.
So yeah, so that was my light bulb moment. So by keeping it out of the wallet, we're keeping it reserved, as it were, for us, individually, whatever we're valued at. By keeping it out of the wallet, you guarantee that it can't be sold.
Correct.
Can
Yep.
I ask a quick question?
That would be Scott from Thailand. Sure. You can
Yeah.
ask a quick question.
So when the coins that are in your bucket, when or how can you get them out of your bucket into your wallet?
Well, I already answered the question, but I'll repeat myself again. Two ways, okay? Way number one is we have to get to $2 million, right? So this goes for everyone.
Hmm.
All of the activity that we're doing on the website, okay? All the lending and all the guarantees that we're paying and da 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 da. When we flip the switch, when we update the software where it's got the buckets, okay, then everybody is going to be filling their buckets. Nothing is going to go to anyone's wallet. Zero.
Hmm.
We're not going to put anything else into the wallets of anyone, whether even if we totally trust you. This is for everyone, right? Because
Yeah, but okay,
let me
but
tell
once you
you,
get
I
to
at one point I trusted Rosalie, and she used to get onto our meetings and she, her crocodile tears and tell us how wonderful everything was with full funding when in her heart, her black heart, you know, she was conceiving a plan to rip us apart from the inside out. You know what I'm saying? And she used access to things that, are privileges, and she used that against the community. And she did it because out of her own, evil, motivations, right? And see, we
okay,
we trusted her, right?
yeah,
So she is a perfect example of why, even if I love you and trust you, doesn't mean I'm right. I could be wrong about you, you know?
mhm.
You could fool me.
But,
She
but
fooled
my question
she
is
fooled she
about
fooled a lot of us, right?
once you've reached the 2 million and everything's working how it should do, how do we then get money from the bucket to the wallet?
And then the
Because
second
if it
part, like
stays
I
there
said, it's
indefinitely, then
two parts. Two parts. 2 million is the one thing, and we got to get there first. Okay. The second part is you have to have over $6,000 in your bucket, and then anything over that spills over to your wallet. So that
right,
means
okay,
everybody's going to have $6,000 of PML to lose.
Does that mean they can all make 2 payments then? 2 lends?
Well, anybody that's got 6,000 can use, because it's over 3,000. 3,000 is the 2 lens, right? 6,000 is instantly paying the 2 lens, right?
Yeah.
So
So
the
that
magic
accounts
number,
if it's in the
the magic number is 6,000, right? You
Yeah.
need to get to 6,000. So you get to 6,000, then you go dee, and you instantly get paid 50-50. So you're getting $100, right? You're getting
Okay.
100
And that counts if
bucks.
it's in the bucket, not just the
And
wallet.
then that $100 would go to your wallet. And the 6,000 would remain. And then the next day, another $100 goes to your wallet. And then the 6,000
Ah,
remains.
okay.
Maybe you get $10,000 in your wallet and you still got $6,000 here. And then you decide to screw the community and you sell you sell your $10,000 of PML. All right, fine. You lost $6,000 of what was yours. At least you burned yourself on the process, not just the community. Right? Because something to lose. Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
hopefully
I'm with you now.
that'll be enough of a deterrent so that the people that fall in this category of temptation, like my wife, she's like, you can't trust a Filipino with $50,000. What are you talking about? Can't do that.
Can't trust them with $5,000.
It's too much money it's too tempting. She's like, she doesn't have as much faith in her, in the people there. But in some cases, she's been proven right. But in the majority of cases, I haven't been proven right. See, the majority of the Filipinos have been good. So I feel like I won the argument at the end of the day. Okay. It's just some of the knuckleheads, right? But it hasn't only been Filipinos. We've had Canadians that have sold. We've had Americans that have sold. We've had New Zealand people sold. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So it hasn't only been Filipinos that have sold. Okay. But it has been since half of our community is Filipino, we tend to look at what they're doing because like half of this community is Filipino, right? Why? Because I lived in the Philippines when I started this thing. Who am I going to talk to? I'm going to talk to people in the Philippines. Here's my idea. Join me, And they did. So some of them just, lost sight of the vision in that I'm working really hard to make them rich, and they just want to grab what they can get and go because you know yeah. I just got to be nice, right? So okay, yeah. It's just I love the Filipino people so much. I've been all over Asia and they're my favorites. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been all over Asia and they're my favorites. Okay. I love the Filipinos. I lived there for many years. Probably going to go back there in a month or two. I'm not sure. It's going to be March or April. I'm tempted to go back in March, but I still feel like I'm needed here.
Start getting really hot here, Ace, I'll tell you. If you like the heat.
I love heat.
Okay, you'll like it here in the summertime.
It's cold that I don't like.
Yeah.
The last
I'm
week,
loving this weather actually.
the last week has been terrible. Like
Yeah.
I've actually had to buy things like jackets. Like and now I own I own 3 or 4 jackets. I've never had to buy a jacket before.
Right.
Last time I bought a jacket was when I was in South Korea. I had to buy a jacket while I was there. It was cold there when I went there. But that was a while back. But in the Philippines, you don't wear jackets. I mean, sometimes, to be honest with you, when living in the Philippines, I'm topless like 90% of the time.
I'll bet.
Yeah, me too.
Just saying. But that's the laptop lifestyle that I get to enjoy. It's and I love it. To me, that's paradise. Less clothing, the better. Like just one item of clothing, and that's it. That's all you need in the Philippines. You don't need a shirt. So, if only we could convince the women to do the same thing, then it would be even better. But
There you go.
But
is
most of
that
them
one
want two
item?
articles of clothing. So, you know,
Is that one item your watch?
well, now you're going to a whole other level there.
This is going on
I
YouTube,
don't wear a watch.
Paul.
No, no, I'm not running a nudist colony over there in the Philippines. But all right, Joe, you had your hand up first, and then Rod.
Cool.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Joe.
Yeah, another point of clarity about the bucket.
Yeah,
When you're explaining the bucket, you did mention that, if I'm not mistaken, you mentioned that if you need to make payment using PML, and if you're out of your wallet, out of PML in your wallet, you can draw it from the bucket to make a payment.
yes. So and actually,
For
the way I want the programmer to write this, okay, because it may not be done on the first day, okay. The way it needs
Yep.
to be written is that when you go to do a lend or whatever, where you're going to use
Yep.
PML, okay, that it takes it out of the bucket first, okay,
Okay.
leaving
right.
what's in your wallet, it just leaves that alone.
Okay. All right, good.
How's that sound?
That cleared that right up.
Yeah.
Good.
Takes
Sounds
it
great.
takes it out of the bucket first, okay.
Cool.
All right. But some of you guys are going to run out of stuff because you don't have at least $3,000 of PML, and you're going to run. You're going to run. You're going to run out. You're going to run out of uh, the bucket, and it's going to start pulling it out of your wallet, and then it's going to go from your wallet into the bucket, and then it's going to sit there for maybe a month because it's a 30-day thing, right? Normally. So there you go. So yeah, but until that accumulates up to 6,000. That's the point. I mean, I've always said there's two kinds of users on the website. We've got the accumulators and we've got the harvesters, right? So the harvesters are people with 6,000 or more PML. They're the harvesters. They're the ones that are getting that paper money. The the accumulators, they got to work their way up to $6,000. And now that's not going to be done in the wallet. That's going to happen over in the bucket. That's how it's going to be restructured. That will correct the flaw that our teachers have taught us to do better, right? Because this is happening for us to teach us, right? This is happening for us because we don't want to learn these lessons later on when we're doing millions and millions and billions with this thing, and then all of a sudden we get a couple of weird people that sell off $100,000 all of a sudden in one big whack. You know what I'm saying, right? Then yeah, they're gonna have something to lose. Gonna have something to lose. But yeah. Anyway, we've got Rod. It's been a minute. How you doing there, Rod?
I'm going well, thanks, eh? Good. I think I've got my head around what's going on. I hope I have. And I'm all for it anyway. But in my case, or in a lot of cases, and I saw a chat come up a while ago, if we have now got $6,000 of PML in our wallet,
Yes.
from now on, which I have got, so all our open trades from now will go straight into that wallet. Is
Going
that
to the
correct?
bucket. Going to the bucket.
Oh, yeah, go into the bucket. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Up
Okay.
up until the point of price stability, we'll just say.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Okay, okay. Because I was starting to wonder when we were going to get all our open ones guaranteed once we hit the 6,000. But I
Yeah.
see it's going to go into the bucket. Okay.
Yeah. That's where
Very
it's
good.
heading. And
Yeah.
that way we just reduce the amount of temptation that some might be experiencing. Because those of you that have not sold anything, you've demonstrated you didn't need to sell anything, right? That's the first demonstration you've done. The fact that you haven't sold, also demonstrates that you didn't need to sell, right?
Yep.
Some of these people, we've seen their sob stories, and they might be 100% true. Some of these sob stories might be 100% true. Oh, my father died. I need to cover the funeral expense. Oh, my daughter is sick. Da, da, da. I mean, I get sob stories almost every day. And I'm not saying they're not true. A lot of them are. But in the Philippines, I question 90%. 90% of the sob stories I hear in the Philippines, I question them from experience. I know. 90% are imaginary stories, okay? 90% in the Philippines. they might be poor, but they're not that poor, okay? Where they need $1,000 tomorrow, okay? That's just weird in the Philippines. There's someone that they've lived, decades on the planet and managed to do just fine on 200-300 bucks a month, and they're still living and breathing, and then suddenly need $1,000, 90% of the time it's bullshit. Okay. So can't really fault them because that's just their ways. What would you do if you were in their shoes, right? But anyway, back to you, Ken. You got your hand up.
Yeah, Ace, do the folks that want to participate in the new diamond promo still have to reach out to you?
100%. They got to work with me direct.
Thank you.
Yeah, 100%. That's the way to do it. The reason for that is, I'm the guy that's accountable here. You know what I'm saying? You guys are expecting me to report back to you how things are going, right? So when it comes to these, when I'm putting out so much PML into someone's wallet, you know what I'm saying? You're going to want to know that I personally handled that myself, right? And trust me, I do a little check on people to make sure that they're not one of the bad apples before I, approve them as either a star or, diamond. I'm checking on them to look at over their account. So their account has to be good and they have to be in good standing. And if they're not, I'll tell them right to their face, like, what are you doing? What are you trying to do here? So there's that. All right, so we're clear on everything, guys.
So,
Okay, are you guys excited about the new coin in the community and for only $100, minimum $20 million? You excited about that?
Very excited.
Yeah.
It's very cool stuff.
Very excited.
So I've already
Yeah,
got,
never
I've
heard
already got an
anybody doing this.
idea. I've already got it.
Awesome.
I've already got an idea. I'm gonna share one of the products that I'll be rolling out in the marketplace on the new coin. I'll be telling you more about it on Thursday. How's that sound?
Sounds
Sounds
good.
good.
Okay. But I'll give you a little tidbit. Okay. It's gonna be called legs.
Eh?
uh-oh, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Gonna be called legs. And the idea is that it's going to be a straight line type of thing that people will go underneath each other in one straight line, and then there'll be some benefits, of getting in line, that are worth buying some PML so that you could get in the line and be in the line. How's that sound, guys?
Cool.
So far, so good.
Yeah. So that's all I'll tell you for now, but I'll tell you more about it on Thursday. So I just want you guys to know that each one of us is a creator. Let's say there's 400 of us in the community. Each one of us can come up with our own idea or ideas. I'm not even going to limit it. Like there might be a person that comes up with a brand new idea every day for a whole year. And they might have 365 products or services inside the marketplace after a year, raking in money from all their ideas, right? And they're collecting it in PML. And as long as the price stays above 1,000, then people can buy and sell PML, no big deal, right? Then later on, if we feel like we need to control the price and it's zipping up to too high, too much, if we're dealing with like $1 million swings every day, it might make sense to add maybe everybody puts in 1% of their coin. You know what I'm saying? Right? So you got 400 people putting in 1% of their coin, right? Something like that, where we add, that eventually would add up to a few more coins instead of just one, right? So it's not just going to be one coin forever, but the idea is over time, coins will be moved in and through, and then the big paydays come in a few years later, where like you might be sitting on an account that's worth, you know, pick a number, right? Multiple millions of dollars. And maybe you've got someone that, they're like a super entrepreneur and they're way smarter than you. And you're like, I'd like to sell my account to this guy here. He probably know more what to do with my account than I know what to do with my account. and he's willing to give me $1 million cash for it today for this account, and I'll take that. And he can have the 20 million or whatever, something like that. See, equity, that's what happens in equity sales. But those would all have to be approved through the community. The community would have to sign off on it. But again, it's a limited number of people, and it'll be that size, forever. That number of people. Now the people might change, but that number of people won't, right? It can only shrink, right? Anyway, hit you with the fire hose today. We covered a lot of different things, but a lot of it is recovering some things, that I've covered before. But you got a little bit more detail today, right? That was helpful. Yes, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More clarity.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you don't, if you get after you get done with a call like this, and like your head's hurting, and go, it's way too much information. I know some of you are like that, like, oh, geez, just remember one thing when you get done with the call. That guy that was talking all the time, okay, me, he's trying to make you rich, right? So take it personally. That guy talking all that, doing all that talking, he's talking all that like because he's trying to make you rich. That's his job. My job is to make you rich. And again, that's you, and even the people that are not even on the call, all of you, if you're part of this, okay? That's my job. And even if you don't understand it all, I know we each have our speed at kind of getting it, it doesn't matter whether you understand it completely or not. The only thing you got to remember is that this guy here is dedicated to making you rich. And when I say that, I'm not talking 10 years, 20 years from now. Like most of us, in the room, be like really old, 10 or 20 years from now. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to be really old and be rich, right? We want to be rich like in like months or a year or two, like really super rich. Okay, that's where we all want to be. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Too late for some of
I,
us.
I grabbed an opportunity back in the past. The first time I became a millionaire, it took me 9 months to be a millionaire. Okay. The second time I did a thing, another opportunity, it took me 5 months to turn myself into a millionaire. I did it in 9 and then I did it in 5. I know how to do it fast. That's what I got to offer you. Never forget that. Always remember, I know the path, I know the way, and I know the math. Okay. And I'm determined. I'm here making you rich. That's the job that I got. And if that's all you got out of all just listening to me for whatever, an hour and a half here, that's all you got, then that's all that you need to know, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you just got a good feeling otherwise, that's fine too, right? So you're going to figure this out at your own speed. The only person you're competing with is yourself. You're going to go at your pace. You're going to drive at your rate. Okay. We've set up the guidelines. Okay. Okay. We tell you when to do, when not to do. All you got to do is just keep the basics, right? As long as you do that, I'll make you rich. And we're going to do it pretty fast. I mean, honestly, if I had total control here, you'd all be rich already by now. You know what I'm saying? Already, if I had total control. But since I don't have total control, we're progressing, we're moving in the right direction. It's going good. It's going good. All right. I think it's a good place to end. How about we all unmute and say, it's going good.
Going
It's
good.
going good.
Going good. It's going good.
It's going good.
Good.
It's
It's
going
going good.